Could I just ask you, I have already had my full pot of Chanui tea this morning. And I would recommend that if you're of nervous disposition, that you should get a cup of tea ready, because our next caller, of course, is Keller. Keller, how are you?
Good morning, Sean.
Good morning.
Hi. I just want to address some of the angry transphobic texters and callers that have been.
What? Name one angry transphobic texter, Keller.
Well, I don't remember their name.
Remember one of the texts. Give me a quote, mate. Don't just come out here and spray around accusations
because they're talking about how this guy needs to have the book thrown at him and how. Is he a trans person? That doesn't make them transphobic. Well, no, because he was standing up for trans rights.
No, he wasn't. He was whipped into a frenzy by a government that was trying to suppress free speech in this country, Keller.
Okay. Let's just say he was whipped into a frenzy about this. He was fighting what he believes is the good fight, though. He was fighting for what was right.
So does that make it okay to punch a 71-year-old woman, Keller?
Because he just got caught up in the moment. And she was there, and the lady was there at a protest.
Like the guard at Auschwitz just got caught up in the moment of the genocide.
Yes, and he's been to court, and the judge obviously thought that there was no consequences needed. He's learned his lesson. Everyone's saying that he needs to be in more trouble. This has just become a witch hunt now, and I don't like it, because all it is just turned into a witch hunt. It's over. He's had his day in court. It's time to just.
But it's not over, Keller, because the people who whipped him into the frenzy still. Well, I guess there are consequences for News Hub, who were very much part of it, and that is that they're going out of business. But all the other journalists who helped whip up the frenzy, Chanel Lal, there have been no consequences for him. We'll see if Eli Rabashkin, the tomato soup thrower, gets some consequences, Keller. But I guess what mainstream New Zealand is saying via talkback on the platform is that this whole situation is indicative of just the woke nonsense that's been prevalent in this country for a long time.
Well, I don't think the media are to blame. I think Posie Parker is the one who's actually to blame.
Do you think she's a Nazi, Keller?
I think that she speaks to Nazis, and a lot of Nazis support her.
Do you think she's a Nazi, Keller?
If you're speaking to them, and she doesn't denounce them, so I think that by association she is.
Yeah, you're a moron then, Keller. You're part of the problem.
No.
You are part of the cancel culture, Keller, aren't you?
No, Sean. Why doesn't she denounce some of her Nazi supporters then? I think
because she doesn't have any Nazi supporters. She speaks to women, and more importantly, she lets women speak.
And she knows that if she has.
Do you want to ring up and call her a Nazi tomorrow when she comes on the program, Keller? Because we're just getting her teed up for tomorrow.
I've got a lot that I'd like to say.
Or would you like to hit her? So, Keller, when did you last hit a 71-year-old woman?
Well, I haven't had a 70-year-old.
How old's your mum, Keller?
But I haven't been in one of those situations. And what was the old lady doing?
She was exercising her right to peaceful, free speech in a country that is an open democracy.
Well, I think she was misled into going there if she really didn't know what she was getting herself into.
Keller, how old's your mum?
55.
55. How would you feel if a 20-year-old punched your mum in the face?
Well, my mum wouldn't be going down to Posie Parker.
Wouldn't she?
No.
Why not?
Well, she's not a supporter.
Isn't she? What does she support then?
But look, this is... I think we're getting a bit off topic here.
No, we're not, Keller. It's the real-world experience. How would you feel if a 20-year-old punched your 55-year-old mum in the face? Would you want them to go to prison? Would you want their name to be exposed? Would you like them to suffer a consequence, Keller?
Well, I just don't think that my mum would be getting herself into a situation like that. Well,
I'm pretty sure that Judith Dobson didn't think going to exercise her free speech in a public place would lead to her being viciously assaulted either, Keller.
But we just heard also that he might have had autism or other things going on, and so I just think that this is becoming a witch hunt now.
Keller, strangely enough, part of me agrees with you. And I have been arguing this morning that we must not focus our hatred on one individual who may have some issues, and that this form of diversion and name suppression is available to many people in our criminal justice system who take advantage of it. And this young man is perhaps unfortunately involved in an incident which has had less coverage than it deserves, than more coverage than most cases. However, to justify assaulting a woman, to in any way support that because it was a legitimate protest is absolute bullshit, my friend.
Okay, well, look, okay. So this lady, I'm sure this old lady wasn't a Nazi herself. Maybe she didn't know what she was going down there for. So, look, I don't think she should. No, she didn't deserve to get hit, especially if she wasn't sure why she was down there. So no, I'm not saying that I support her getting hit or anything like that. But I'm just saying that we need to, because he's had his day in court now, and the judge has handed down the decision. So
he got slapped over the back of the hand with a wet bus ticket, mate.
It was his first offence.
And I hear you on that. Okay. Keller, would you ever hit anyone? Would you ever hit anyone in a protest?
I'd punch a Nazi.
She wasn't a Nazi, Keller.
I know.
Neither's Kelly J. King.
Well, she speaks to Nazis, and she has
rubbish.
Nazis that help platform her.
Rubbish.
So.
Am I a Nazi, Keller?
No, you're not a Nazi.
There we go. But you'd punch a Nazi, really?
Yes. And
good luck finding one, mate. Good luck finding one.
Trust me, there are plenty.
Name one. Name one that lives in New Zealand.
Go into any comment section on social media, usually when it comes to something to do with the Labour government or anything to do with trans rights or something.
When you're sitting there on the interweb, do you, Keller? You don't have to. You can't punch them, and they can't punch you back.
Well, they're out there.
All right. Hey,
and I hope I don't run into any of them.
Oh, because big trouble for them. I'm sure they're quaking in their boots.
Well, we'll see.
Violence is no way to solve anything, Keller, including, Nazis. It did require violence. It required the sacrifice of many, many millions of people to defeat the Nazis. The problem is, Keller, people like you seem quite keen to have some form of fascism back again. Always good talking to Keller, isn't it? Sean Keller is obviously on your payroll and is worth every cent. His views on things are so very different from mine. And I love hearing how much he believes in what he says. Nice to know, as I'm sure the Nazis will be running for the hills now that big, strong Keller is out there. He'd punch a Nazi if he could find one, wouldn't he? Sean, if Keller punched a Nazi, he would be screaming for help from the so-called right wing to save his ass, says Kevin. Sean, lastly, Nazi eyesores in the Canadian Parliament being imported by the lefties, says Brett. Keller is a loser. Why do you give this scum so much airtime, Sean? Because we need to understand what idiots are thinking to stop it taking hold. To be honest. How many more breaks we got to go, Josh? One more break? One more break. Thank you. That's good. Avis, how are you? No, I didn't want to pay a break. Can we roll that down? Yeah. Avis, how are you?
I've been called an old chook from time to time, Sean, so that's
you old broiler.
Yeah, and we're a bit tough, aren't we? Keller will be 40, going on 50 one day. Keller will look back at his time in his 20s, as we all do, and go, what the hell was I thinking? Some of it was amazing, some of it was fantastic, and the rest of it was utter BS. Anywho, may Keller have a wonderful day sitting in his little bubble while the rest of us get on in the real world.
Yeah.
Hawea Flats. I have...
Oh, yeah, it is all go this morning. We've covered some ground, haven't we? Me old mate Dave the Brickie from Christchurch. How are you, pal?
Yeah, good, Sean. How are you? Well, actually, good now. It's probably a good thing there was a couple of calls and then a couple of ads because I had the old red mist going pretty bad back there, but I've had a chance to take a deep breath and calm down now.
Keller, did Keller trigger you, Dave?
Look, I'd actually like Keller to come on and just define for me what he thinks Nazi is, because as someone who I believe has had Jewish heritage in his family, he should actually bloody well know better. I kind of do know what a true Nazi is. My father, as a young boy of about 8 or 9 years old, along with his brothers, sat by and watched Nazi soldiers rape and murder my grandmother as they marched everybody off from my father's village down to the camps and the chambers.
Yeah. Yeah, Dave. But you've got to... Look, Keller, I think Keller's heart's actually in the right place. His brain's just completely missing in action, though.
Well, I'm not sure Keller has much of a heart or much of a brain at the moment, and I think he's had some pretty bad influence in his life. And if he was standing beside me as he was bleating off like a little jerk, I would have knocked him out myself.
Okay, Dave. Dave, okay. Cup of tea, Dave?
Yeah, I know. I need a shot of whiskey more like. I mean, God, that really got me going, and not many calls get me going like that, Sean. But just constant talking Nazis from the extremist left. It really does make me wild. It really makes me wild. And it is Keller,
that very attitude that led to the assault on a 71-year-old woman called Judith Dobson on March 25th last year at Albert Park. It is that very liberal attitude that caused all this.
Yeah, by another little jerk that's only exercising a jelly bean portion of his brain, just like Keller.
Yeah. But, Dave, also other people are responsible. Amelia Hubb from News Hub, Wade from News Hub. The police
Sean,
who stood by and did nothing. You know?
I think the biggest scandal in this whole thing, Sean, is that the Prime Minister of our country conspired with immigration.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, that just defies all logic. I don't know. I'm glad that my dad managed to come to such a wonderful free country where little jerks like Keller can spout off about things he has no idea
All right,
about.
okay, Dave. Dave, what about the guy who gets the name suppression and the diversion?
I can understand the name suppression, like you say, because of the social media, but I think the sentencing, our whole sentencing in this country is just so out of whack. I just think that's a slap on the hand with a wet bus ticket, as the saying goes. And you can say, as you had done earlier, that hey, look, it's in line with sentences that other people get.
Yeah, he pled guilty. He didn't put the Crown to the cost of a trial.
This is the problem. There should be absolutely no discounts when you bash a poor defenceless old woman. And I just think about my dear old mother. Imagine if that was Mrs. Plunket.
Absolutely. And I get that.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Sean, I'm a little wound up today.
No, and we should, but we've still got to have the conversation, because otherwise we just end up hitting each other, Dave, and that's not the way to solve our issues, eh?
Look, I just see that so much trouble in this country due to a lack of proper consequence. You know, perhaps just a wee 3-month stint in jail with solitary or something like that, but just to teach the prick a lesson. I mean, there's no lesson learnt here. This is my problem. There's no lesson learnt here.
Yeah, well, let's try. Let's try and come up with some lessons amongst us. Dave, have a good day, mate. Just calm down. Calm down. Don't listen to the replays. Adam, how are you?
Yeah, mate, how are you?
All right.
Yeah, mate, just a couple of quick things. Keller here, or whatever his name is.
Keller.
Have you noticed that everyone that doesn't agree with him is a Nazi?
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And that's a lefty catch cry, because it's just a joke, mate. And to tell the truth, he's entertaining. I know why you have him on, but he doesn't add a lot of value in my mind.
Well, he just rings in. It's like everyone else. You get on because you ring in.
Yep.
You know?
Yep, no, hey, and the other one, I was listening to the interview with Ingrid Leary of Lawsy.
Sean, has Keller committed a crime by stating he would assault another person? Oh, he'd get off. He'd get diversion, wouldn't he? Sean, the judiciary are just Kellers that never grew up. Okay. Greg says people need to calm down. It is so obvious that Keller is a wind-up. He might be, and I will have to say I've never met Keller in person. Though Keller's story, and I've cross-examined, Keller's story never alters. It never alters. He might be real, he might not. Who knows? He's like the Scarlet Pimpernel. Tom, how are you, Tom?
Good, thank you, Sean. How are you?
Great. Busy morning.
Good. Yep, certainly has been. I think in this case, the crime hasn't been met with a suitable punishment. He should have got a hell of a harsher sentence for what he did. When you go and bash an elderly lady who's done nothing personally to you, even if they had, you know what you're doing. And this person has been shown mercy that he should never have been bloody shown. And I don't exactly buy into the, or he's autistic or he's ADHD argument. I've got a son who's autistic and ADHD.
And he doesn't go around hitting grandmothers.
Yeah, I've got no sympathy for them.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
And as for Keller,
yeah.
As for Keller, the superhero Nazi basher, I don't expect he'd try and swing a punch at anyone older than 10 years old, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
I
think a lot of people think Keller should probably give himself a swift uppercut. Though no way am I promoting self-harm amongst the snowflake generation.
Yeah, just something else too, like if that was my mother that got hit by that guy, I would be hunting him down and I'd be delivering him my justice. Simple as that, because the courts can't deliver it, so I'll sort it out myself. Yeah. And I'm not trying to say that out of trying to claim to be some superhero warrior, because I'm not, but there's a line that gets crossed, and when my